is up, everybody? Dude, so you were giving me some shit last week about how I looked like an 80-year-old man
Yeah.
with, my COVID hairdo and everything like that. And I feel like I trimmed up my beard and I got a haircut and I feel like I'm at least 20 years younger.
So we talked briefly on the air about this, or off the air, excuse me, before the show about this. But remember that old country western song that starts out, I got a brand new girlfriend. Like you got your brand new haircut. I love it.
I got a brand new haircut.
That's right, dude. You took like 30 years off of your video face.
It's awesome. good stuff.
What did you do to the volume?
I don't know.
What am I yelling?
Audio went crazy.
You okay
Try
now?
something again. Yeah, it's okay now.
Hey, Taz, give me some feedback. How's the audio out there in Facebook land?
I think it's better now.
Okay.
It sounded like we have an audio guy who pressed the reverb and distort button all at the same time. And since we don't have either of those things, I don't know. It must just be a StreamYard problem. So anyway, it went crazy for a second. Yeah, it did.
All right, I missed it. I think that might have been my voice. That might have been my scream.
Yes. Could have been. Hey, so let's chat. So you had a great weekend. You went out to J Jeffries, one of my favorite restaurants here in Lancaster. Social distanced, ate outside. It was you and Mrs. Weidman's what anniversary?
17 years. I mean, that's insane. Like I've known her now. We've dated for more than half of my life, and that's been true for her for a couple years. So it's kind of cool. But
you got yourself a youngin', did you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we got married when she was 22. That's insane. Yeah. But that was before she got smart. So, I got her before she got her sense about her.
Yeah. Nice. So, news
about J Jeffries. I mean, I got to tell you, I went to the hotel before, but I never stumbled into
hotel.
Yeah, hotel's really nice. I never stumbled into the restaurant, but man, it's really nice down there.
It's a farm to table restaurant that isn't, extra pretentious. There's a lot of these former hippies, now yuppies that do this, crunchy granola, farm to table. And I'm a Lancaster County boy. So I eat farm to table at my home all the time. I just talked to my butcher. I'm picking up a half a side of beef tomorrow at 2:30. You know what I mean? So I'm all about good, locally sourced ingredients, everything like that. And J Jeffries does it right. They're not extra pretentious about it. So I love it there.
Well, I like the snooty, pretentious foodie. Like I really do. And they had enough of that on their menu and in the restaurant design that I was into it. I was totally into it. And I mean, the best part, one thing I really hated about going out to dinner in Philly is you got to spend $25 or $30 just to park your car.
Right.
And then you go out to dinner, and then it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but it annoys me. They got parking right there. We walked around afterwards on what's a college right there?
F&M campus.
F&M campus is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And, it was a little bit eerie walking around on a Saturday night, and there's nobody there. I mean, obviously it's summertime, and the campus is closed and all that stuff. But whatever. My wife reminded me that perhaps they were out partying and doing fun things instead of just walking around campus. But
you're old now. You're old.
Exactly. But anyway, that was my weekend. How was your weekend? What'd you do? Anything fun?
Weekend was great. Was with the kids. Baked some dinner rolls last night. Made really good. So Giant Food used to have Cajun catfish, and they stopped making it. And for about 6 years, they did not have it. I visit 3 local Giants at least once a week, and I asked them every single time I was in there if they were going to get it again. Could they please get it again? Could they please start making this again? Yeah. Recently, I saw Cajun something else, like Cajun tilapia or something, and I was like, okay, you guys have the Cajun seasoning again. Put that on 3 pounds of catfish and sell it to me. For 6 years, I've finally agreed to do it. Uh, I'm relentless, Josh. Like it doesn't matter. Like if I want something, I'm just going to ask you about it until you realize that saying yes is the easier way out.
I can't believe that you didn't just go like catfishing. Like
Dude,
that's what drives me crazy. Like in
right,
this whole story, I'm thinking to myself, like, all you have to do is Google, like, Cajun seasoning.
right. Right. No, I don't know what it is. The Cajun seasoning that they have is great, and it's also just like super easy. And yes, I could just buy and I do a lot of cooking. I mean, if you follow me on Facebook and stuff like that, I do plenty of cooking. It's just yes, as my sister Jana says, dogged determination. And it's just really nice to be able to say, great, give me 3 pounds of that catfish that's already made, marinated, and everything like that. You throw it in the oven, you throw it on the grill. It
Yeah.
cooks up nice, white, fluffy. I really like catfish. It's one of my favorite seafoods. And in the summer like this, it's excellent, dude. You got to. This is boring for our show, but also you've got to get me your recipe for bagels. I want to learn how to make bagels. I want to know how to make bagels. We got to cover this because
Before
you've
we get
like
off the air.
perfected this, right?
Yeah, well, I'm perfected it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I mean, every derivation they get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. But hey, bagels are
Dude,
tough.
you got to try Grand Central Bagel, by the way, on Centerville Road in Lancaster,
Okay.
right off of Route 30. Amazing bagels.
Well, so
Amazing bagels.
to be fair, you're still 40 minutes away from my house. And like I have no
Right.
problem driving once a week or like, on my anniversary going to Wegmans because it's the only time I'm in Lancaster necessarily. Hi, Sam.
Right.
You gotta go. I have no problem doing that every once in a while, but it gets a little bit crazy. So one thing I really want to talk about, I'm going to use
Dude,
all.
how about Jana for the tie-in here? Does my sister know me or what? Catfish or bottom feeders, like wholesalers.
Oh my gosh, come on. Are
That's
you serious?
hilarious.
John,
That is
I'm
hilarious. Dude, you know and I know, that 80% of wholesalers are absolute garbage and give the rest a bad name. I'm not saying that I'm not.
I totally disagree.
Really?
So much so that it is such a long argument. Like I can make a PowerPoint of this argument, and you would be convinced at the end of it.
Great. Well, we need content for the rest of this week, so feel free.
And you know what? Then that's what we're gonna do. We are gonna set that up one day this week. I'm gonna pitch you on why wholesaling is a necessary and wonderful profession.
I'm not saying it's not a necessary and wonderful profession. I'm just saying that most wholesalers don't know what they're doing and give the industry a bad name and a bad rap.
I'll bet you dollars to donuts right now that there's a higher percentage of wholesalers that know what they're doing than real estate agents.
Great. I mean, you're realtors, wholesalers, realtors, Democrats. Great. I mean, like.
Okay. All right. So you're getting into politics before I even have a chance to unleash my small bit. So the little bit of politics we talk about on the show every week, I'm going to unleash it right now.
Okay.
In context of our topic for this week. Okay.
In marketing.
This really matters to me so much that I debated even bringing this up over the weekend. I debated trying to convince you to have an entire show on this topic. So I'm going to take a minute and a half to explain my stance on the issue, what the issue is and all that.
What's the issue? Let's go.
All right, July 1st, there is a boycott that's starting for Facebook advertising. And I don't know if you saw this, but Facebook shares dropped by something like $54 billion in value over the weekend because of this boycott. Major advertisers, Hershey Foods, Nike, North Face has already pulled their advertising. Patagonia. I mean, this is just off the top of my head. These are major advertising outlets. And the reason that they're pulling their advertising is because they're not happy with the way Facebook is responding to like the fake news. Like, okay, so I have a political slant to this because right now I'm on the right with respect to a lot of the politics that are happening there. It's not to say that I don't understand some of the arguments that the left is making. It's not to even say that I'm 100% right. But my default is a lot more right than it is left. And I am going to side a lot more with the police than I am going to with the defund the police movement. Okay, fine.
Fair.
Whether you agree with me or not,
You've stated your bias. It's fair to move forward with that understanding.
there we go. With all that stuff being said, there will definitely, like right now, I think there's a lot more empathy towards the Black Lives Matters movement, towards the defund the police movement than there is towards the, than the Trump presidency, for that matter. But regardless of that, this will not always be the case. This will not always be the political stance, and the tide will turn at some point where the majority, where the loudest voice in the room will be a Republican or will be a right-wing stance. I think it is very, very short-sighted to try to get a company like Facebook that does a pretty good job of allowing everybody's voice to be heard, to encourage them to silence voices on the other side, regardless of whatever that voice is.
Unless it's specifically like immediate calls to violence, displaying currently, people acting out violence on other people. Yeah, I really agree with you, because Facebook is concerned. Facebook is immune to Twitter and YouTube. These are not media companies. They are, I forget what the distinction is, but they are
open forums.
Right. They're forums. They're like a town hall. And so therefore a lot of the rules about like equal time and other things like that don't apply to them, because they say, listen, we're going to let anybody say anything unless it's illegal. If it's legal speech, like, hey, would you like to buy some marijuana? Hey, can I pay you $1,000 to kill my wife? Like, everyone always talks about like free speech. No, like there's speech. Not just because it's speech doesn't mean it's legal. Like, there's all kinds of illegal speech out there. And what Facebook's position is unless it's illegal speech, we are going to allow it.
Well, and
people are pushing back against that. And because Facebook wants to be as neutral as they are, I have a problem with that pushback.
Well, and I'm against that pushback, even if it's let's kill all the white Polacks, of which I am a member.
Right.
Like, strike that. Not let's kill. How about
kill would be illegal.
People in the world, and they shouldn't have a voice, and we should stomp them out. Like, I'm for somebody saying that, even though I don't agree with it. Right. Because I also want to stand up and say, hey, listen, I think, I want to say what I think too. And I don't want to feel like I'm going to get cut off. Somebody's going to put a blurry screen over our daily video just because they don't agree with us, and so that's my stance in conjunction with our topic today, which is using remarketing pixels for Google and Facebook. This is a great way, especially during the month of July when all of the other advertisers are pulling their advertising. You want to get eyeballs on your ads? This is the best time you could do it, right? All right. Boom.
You have to go. You go. I need to mute myself for just a second, my friend, while I handle an emergency situation with a rental.
Awesome. No problem. All right, Judah, we'll see you back here in a minute. All right. So look, focus on remarketing. Remarketing pixels for Google and Facebook is a really phenomenal way to kind of recycle your leads. And it's a very high-tech trick. I'm not a terribly high-tech guy. I know a lot about technology on a very shallow, in a very shallow way. I'm not very deep in this area. And I'm going to show you, whether you're deep or whether you are real shallow in this knowledge, how to take a little bit of knowledge and implement it. So the first thing I'm going to look at here is going to be how many touches. This is a big deal. And we talked about this before. When Eric Brewer was on here, he tries to touch at least, every contact 5 times, 5 different ways to contact them. Typically speaking, with any marketing activity, you can count on requiring 8 touches to get an initial meeting from a prospect. 8 times, right?
To get a decision, be it yes or no. You need to touch them multiple times.
That's just to get the opportunity to pitch them, right? So that's the first concept. For the last week and a half, we've been covering different ways to, without much cost, get in front of people. We went over outbound. No, we went over voicemail drops. We went over text messaging and direct mail. Right now, we're going to add a remarketing. All right, and I'll show you how you can do this in a minute. But like, first, think about, like, we're hitting these people. We discussed 3 different ways. This is the 4th way that you can get in touch with people. All right. So let's think about this. The top websites across the internet and the top search engines. Google owns the 2 top search engines on the entire internet, in YouTube and in Google. Right? The 2 top search engines, and those 2 sites are 2 of the top websites and that receive visits as well. Google, 26th for most site visits, and YouTube is number 1 for most site visits. So these 2 platforms have a huge demand and a huge control in the internet. Facebook is number 4 for searches and number 4 for most visited sites. So a lot of eyeballs, right? Why use remarketing? I mean, did I even explain what this is? I will in a second. But like, why use it? Number 1, you can retarget your existing prospects. These are people that you're, they've contacted you once, or they've done some research about you. And if you think about it like this, if you send out a postcard or you call somebody and you've got an easy URL for your website, let's say you're doing a voicemail drop. Okay. Voicemail drop is, hey, Judah, this is Josh from iBuyCentralPAHouses.com, right? Give me a call. If you've ever considered selling your house, give me a call. If not, have a fantastic day. Well, Judah says, like, who the heck is this guy? I'm not going to call him. But he said, from WeBuyHouseCentralPA.com, I'll check out the website. He goes to the website. And while you're on there, there's a little pixel. I'm sure you've seen this on websites. Something pops up and says, we use cookies to track user data.
Now they have to do that a whole lot more. They used to not have to tell you about the cookies. Now they say, hey, by the way, we're gonna track what you do and where you go.
Right, but the thing is, everybody does it. Everybody says, hey, we're gonna track you and all this and that. So everybody says, okay, yeah, I'll look at the website, whatever. So once that's installed, now you can target those people as interested prospects anywhere else where advertising is available on the website or on the internet. And we'll go into that in a minute. But you can increase the touches for your list, and these are already the people that you're targeting, and then cultivate existing interest. So if you already know that somebody, I mean, the cool thing about these pixels is that you can specialize them. You can have a different one on each page of your website. So let's say that somebody goes to a foreclosure assistance page, landing page, extra page on your site, and they're reading about how you work with that. Now you can display ads specifically for avoiding foreclosure, how to help them, sell their house and keep the equity in their property and all this kind of stuff. You can run a totally separate ad for a different list of people that, hey, we don't want, you don't want a ton of traffic through your house. How do you do that? All that kind of stuff. So you can customize your marketing to them, and the cost is so stinking low. How about that? If they've gone to your site and you have a pixel up there, unless they click on your ad, you don't pay anything.
Right. So it's a way to get a bunch of impressions and rebranding without actually paying for it.
That's right. It's like putting a billboard up outside somebody's house, and as they drive down the street, all the billboards that come up are you, until they decide, hey, let's go to, Bob's Furniture Shop and buy a table. Like, until they go to that point and actually go to the shop, you're not paying for the billboard. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
All right. So here's how this works. The first thing that happens is you go to your website and install a tracking pixel. Okay. This is a small snippet of code. And if you go online and you just Google this, there's tons of videos on YouTube. How about that? Tons of videos on YouTube. You want to look for the most recent one, because a lot of these platforms constantly change, right? If we did a video today and you watched it 2 weeks from now, it could be completely different.
That's specifically why we're not showing you a click by click on how to do this, by the way.
That's right. Once you install it, the next thing that happens is when a prospect goes to the site or the landing page, or how about this, opens your email. Now the cookie is installed in their browser. And I don't know about you, Judah, but like one of the coolest things for me with the Chrome internet browser is that I log on my phone and I log on, on my desktop, and I can recall the history for both sites. I can save my bookmarks. I can do all that stuff, and the cookies transfer. Right. That's a beautiful thing on the marketing side, and a lot more people are using that type of platform. So it's going to carry over both on their phone and on their desktop.
Because you only have one identity. Whether you're on your laptop, desktop, mobile device, whatever, you are who you are.
Right, exactly. So then now the site is going to deliver ads on any platform that uses AdSense or the Facebook ad platform. Now, AdSense Google was one of the first, I think they were the first company to do this, where if you got a website with a lot of views, a lot of traffic, you can sell ad space on that platform. And essentially you just install Pixel from Google. And now every time somebody goes to the site, they can display relevant ads to the user on your site. And every time there's a click, you get paid. It's great. And there are plenty of, newspapers, internet forums, plenty of blogs and things. That's their major source of income. That's how they make money. That's why everything's free online. So we're talking about platforms across the board, every kind of demographic you can look for. So, I mean, that's really beneficial. And that's a superficial example of how this works, high level. Now, there's really 4 steps to get started, and it's really simple. First and foremost, you got to create an account. So if you have a Gmail account, or even if you don't, you can set up an AdWords campaign, and it's really simple. Just Google AdWords login or create a page, whatever. Go in, create that page. Facebook ads. If you have a Facebook account, you probably do. If you're watching this, you can set up an ads account, right? Set it up. It's easy. It's a very big front door. Second thing that you want to do is hire somebody to create ads in a bunch of different formats. And you're probably asking yourself, where the heck do I go for this? Fiverr.com, Fivve. Is there one V? There's either 2 V's or 2 R's, but it's Fiverr.com, I think is what it is. But you can go there, and for less than $100, you can have 10 or 20 different layouts.
Yeah, it's called Fiverr because everything used to just cost $5. Now everything, they quote you $5, then you tell them what you want to do, and they're like, okay, well, for that it'll be $15.
Right.
Well, for that'll be $10. For that it'll be whatever. So I mean, it's no longer just $5, but for dirt cheap, you can just. I mean, I had a friend one time who was like, we had a joke, and they were interested in like a GIF or a meme, like a little GIF. And I was like, I don't know how to create a GIF. And so I was like, hey, I showed him a YouTube video clip, but I was like, can you make a GIF from like seconds, 27 to 29 and put these words on it? It's like, yeah, $12. I was like, sweet, here you go. And it was like a cute little gift for this person, a gift as a gift. Like, you can get anything done you want at the drop of a hat. I did that at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it took me 8.5 minutes. Somebody in Bangladesh just banged it out for me.
Okay, so Taz brought up another site, Upwork.
Upwork, yeah, absolutely. Odesk for outsourcing desk. There's a bunch of them out there.
There are. Here's the major difference between Fiverr and a lot of these other platforms. When you're just getting started, I will tell you, I mean, we've talked about this before. It takes me 3 derivations to get it right? Don't go expensive first. Upwork is a little bit more expensive. You can get a little bit higher of a quality product from some of these professional freelancers on Upwork. That's not to say you're not going to get quality on Fiverr, but in the beginning, you just want something. You can always tweak that something and make it better at a later time, but go cheap first, figure it out. And then when you know exactly what you want, then go to somebody that's a little bit more expensive, a little bit more maybe professional. But from the beginning, you don't need all that. But what you will need is different shapes and sizes of ads. Essentially, make one, figure out one ad campaign that's going to be is going to fit well with the target group that you're looking for. Okay. Third, build an ad group within the platform, Facebook and Google. All right, now this is where everybody gets stuck, and this is why it's so important to realize that these companies, they make money selling ads. And guess what they have? Specialists that know how to set up your ad groups and ad campaigns. Get on the phone, spend some time. The first time you do it, it will take you a while. It will be a little confusing. But then as soon as you get the idea behind it, here's how it works. Here's why it works. This is, this is how the platform's laid out. Once that's done, now, number one, you have a contact within that organization that understands what you're trying to accomplish and helps you do that. But number two, you can make 50 different ad groups for 50 different target groups that you're trying to market to, and adjust them and change them and all that kind of stuff. In the beginning, I would just do a remarketing list. That's it. That's it. No other ads. You can obviously add pay-per-click and all that kind of stuff, but right now, focus on that. And then last, get the pixel, go to the landing page, email, website, whatever, and install it. It's that simple. It's a little piece of code that you cut and paste into the header of the website. Most of if you're using like a what you see is what you get website design, software, oftentimes they'll even have a section where it's like input tracking code here. Really, really simple stuff. Save it, and then you're live. And then sit back and just monitor it. In the beginning, once a week, just see how many ads were displayed, see how many people clicked through. And then once a month, in the beginning, you don't want to do this once a month. In the beginning, let it ride for about 90 days. And after 90 days, go back and look. Make some minor adjustments. And then every month, follow up, track what's working, get rid of what's not. If you find that one shape of ad or one size ad or one heading works really well, push it across, push what's working and get rid of what doesn't.
Yeah, it's very important to just understand that this isn't the end all be all, but it will be greatly helpful to you. Also, there is no substitute for time and just allowing stuff to marinate. Also, it was John Wanamaker who came up with the first department store, and he was in Philadelphia market, and he said, "I know that 50% of my marketing is wasted. I just don't know what 50% is."
Right.
A buddy of mine ran the marketing campaign for Stevens Tech, really well-known technical institute here in Lancaster County, named after Thaddeus Stevens. And he and I was like, "Hey, I see you advertising in this magazine and that magazine. Like, how much does that cost? And like, what do you think your ROI or response rate is to that or whatever?" And he was like, "Chuda, marketing, you should know. Like, there's no ROI on print." So I'm just so used to, like, I track my open rate for my emails, and I know that I have like about a 20-25% open rate on emails, and I know that probably a lot of people have cookies blocked and other things like that. So I probably have about another anywhere from 10 to 5 to 7 to maybe as much as 20% additional on top of that. But like I just track what I can track. So your marketing is probably going to be more effective than what it looks like, because all you're tracking is the people that you can track.
Yeah.
And understand there's going to be people who respond to you who won't tell you how they responded, or they won't look like they responded in this way. One of the other things that Eric talked about is, people would call the number from a postcard, and they would say, and one of the questions is, "How'd you hear about us?" "Oh, I heard about you online." Or, "Oh, I heard about you, through your TV ads," or whatever the case may be. So you're gonna hear about people a bunch of different ways. I know that happens to me. I finally make the decision to buy a product, and they always ask, "Hey, how'd you hear about us? Did you hear about us on Facebook or Fox News, or did you hear about us on a website, or see us online on a website advertising, or a YouTube ad?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, I mean, like I've seen 3 of those 4 things, and I've been wanting to buy your product for 3 years. I only just now got around to it.
Yeah.
So it's, you've got to understand and think about marketing, how you respond to marketing too, and understand that it is not an exact science.
Well, and the cool thing about online marketing is you can make it an exact science. I mean, the great thing about Facebook ads is that you
It can be
track,
more exact than most. Yes.
well,
Facebook especially is ridiculous.
you can track how long people watch your videos. I mean,
Right.
we run an ad that is based on, it's a filter based on how long somebody watches one Facebook ad. And if they watch it for more than 10 seconds, then we deliver a second Facebook ad. And if they watch that for more than 10 seconds, another and another. So that by the time you get to the people that have watched 5 or 10 of the videos, all of a sudden you've got people that are really interested in what you're looking to sell. I mean, that's a big deal. That's 5.0 version. We're looking at 1.0. And
Right.
there's a lot of data that you can get from 1.0. If you know that you have your target group of your target group of people that you're marketing to, and you're able to get their phone number and you're able to get their email address, you can upload that email, that list of emails, and you can target those people with your Facebook ads. It's incredible. They've never seen your pixels. You don't even know necessarily who they are, but they're on your list.
All right. So Taz says this sounds very complicated to me. All right, let's back up. So Taz, have somebody design your website for you. You're going to spend $500 to $1,000 for that, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Have that person set up a pixel for you.
Yep.
Talk to that person and or somebody on Fiverr to run some simple ads. $50 a month. You know what I mean? On retargeting or whatever. On
Yep.
Facebook or Google or both. And just start simple, just start small. And then, so all you're doing is, I don't know how to build a website, but I've had 80 cajillion websites in my life because I have somebody do it for me. And
Yep.
I know that having some form of a website is better than having no website. So just start with your website. Ask your website person, if this is pixel trackable. Then what you do is, when you're mailing, when you're calling, when you're doing stuff, you just list your website.
Yep.
Do everything you can to just drive traffic back to your website so you can track people.
Well, and so
Take the baby steps you can.
Using these marketing platforms, especially social media, every social media platform, it's the same. The delivery looks different, but you've got your connections or your friends or your whatever that you want to call it. You have the likes and the upvotes and and like the comments and the thumbs up or whatever. You have your news feeds, you've got your video feed. Like, they're all very similar in the way that they're laid out. It's just a matter of understanding the nuances and how they work together. And you do that by getting an expert that you don't have to pay to help you set up the ads once or twice or 3 times, whatever.
Here's what you need to understand. You don't have to fully understand it in order to implement it and operate it.
Right.
I don't fully understand how my microwave works, but I know how to use it, right? So you don't have to fully understand the magic and the whiz bang in all the marketing to understand enough to be able to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really proud of that analogy. I think that's a good analogy to end the show on, Josh.
Microwave it, baby. Microwave it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get back at this. Maybe tomorrow. I might be ready to pitch on wholesaling tomorrow and just prove Judah wrong on why wholesalers are so important to the industry. But we'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
Otherwise, we're going to be back here talking about marketing tomorrow. Great stuff this week, every day at noon. Anything for the good of the cause, Judah?
Nope, that's it. See you tomorrow at noon, everybody.
Surprise. We're adding an outro here. Check it out. Tell us what you think. If you like the show, make sure that you like it and click the like button, share it. Thanks so much. We'll be back here tomorrow at noon.